Yeah. Hi guys, good evening. So yeah, welcome to my session. So myself Tushar guys. So overall I have 7 years of experience. I know DevOps. I have 5 years of experience here. And from training perspective, I'm doing from past 4 years with the DURGASOFT. And I'm currently working for one of the top MNC in India. That is a product-based organization. Yeah, and I started my career at the bank, and overall my experience with the banking profile only. And right now I'm working for mobile networks. So that's all about my introduction, guys. So before going to discuss about the DevOps, guys, okay, so let's discuss some of the basic concepts regarding DevOps. Okay, then we'll go for the what exactly the DevOps is. Okay, so in the earlier days, guys, we were using the software development lifecycle here. Okay, in order to develop any of the softwares, we used to follow one lifecycle that is called as a software development lifecycle. So in our earlier days, we were using the waterfall model here. Okay, so let's discuss some of the basic concepts regarding waterfall model. So in a first phase of the waterfall model is called as a requirement phase, guys. So in this phase, so we will take the requirement from the client here, basically. Okay, so let's say you guys are working for like a Cognizant, Capgemini, or any other organization, and your client is like a HDFC Bank or something. So what these clients will do is they will take the requirement from the, so what is this business analyst will take the will have a meeting, and they will take the requirements from the client here. Okay, so that is the first phase in the waterfall model. So once the what do you call we got the requirement, what we will do then, the next phase in a waterfall model is called as the design phase. That means once we get the requirement from the clients, we will design how the application should be. Okay, and what are all the things we require in order to develop the in order to meet the client's requirement here, like what coding language we have to use, what is the infrastructure we need. Okay, so all such things. So there we will make a one design here. So once the designing is ready, we will make the coding or a implementation phase, we can say. That is, once the design is ready, our developers will start writing the code, okay, as per the requirements. So once the coding is done, so what we will do, we will one of the team member has to perform the testing here, because so let's say if you guys have deployed that set of code to the directly to the production environment. Okay, so if anything goes wrong in the production server, it will impact on a business. Okay, so what we will do, before moving that code to the production server, so our QA engineers or a test engineers, they will be performing the testing what the developer has wrote the code here. Okay, so once the testing phase is done, so what we will do, we will move to the we will move that code to the deployment phase. That is a production, we can say. Okay, so in this one, so our software testing, what you call the system engineers, they will perform this deployment of the code to the production servers. Okay, and the application will be available to the end users here. Okay, so once the deployment has been done, so one or the other person has to maintain this application, right? Because sometimes the user may get logged, or table space may get full. Okay, so like one or the other issues we may face. Okay, so because of this, one or the other person has to maintain this application. So the next phase in the waterfall model is called as a maintenance phase, guys. Okay, so if you clearly observe this what do you call waterfall model, so each phase is interdependent on the previous phase. Like you can see here, implementation or coding phase. Okay, so what happens once the testing, what do you call business analysts get the requirement and they will design with the tech leads. Okay, so these guys, business analyst work is completed here. Okay, at that time, so these tech leads, developers, test engineers, system engineers, supporting team members, so all these guys are sitting idle here, right? So guys who are all not, please go on mute, guys. Okay, I will answer your queries after the end of the session. Okay, please go on mute. Praveen Kumar, can you please go on mute? Okay. Okay. So like a testing team here. Okay. Once the developer has wrote the code, okay, and this guy work is completed, okay, and test engineers will start testing this work. So at this time, at this point of time, this system engineer and supporting team, so these guys will be sitting idle here, right? So like the same here, the developers, tech leads, and the business analyst guys, so these guys will also be sitting idle here. Okay, so because of that, what happens? The resource utilization is less here, right? Why? Because we are not at all usually using the resource properly here, correct? Okay, and we are paying the salary for them, right? So that is not a proper way. So because of that, we can say the resource utilization is less here. Okay, so in order to complete this entire life cycle, guys, okay, starting from requirement to maintenance, okay, it will takes roughly around 6 to 8 months to complete one project, right? So think, guys, okay, in order to complete this one project, they are taking, it will take roughly around 6 to 8 months to complete one project. That means within this duration of time, if any other team members, if any other organization develops the same project within this duration of time, then whatever the product which we have developed, it will become outdated, right? Then whatever the efforts we put in order to develop this application or a product, it is outdated and waste of money also, right? So because of that, so because of that, we can say this is not a proper way of developing any of the product here. Then the deployment is manual, right? Deployment in the manual in the sense, so all the phase whatever you're seeing right now in the waterfall model is a manual process. Like the developer has wrote the code, means in order to move that code to the testing team, okay, so this is also a manual task. Okay, so some of the engineers has to deploy that code to the testing server or a SIT server, we can say. Okay, so that is also manual, and this deployment to the production server, that is also manual task. Okay, since it is a human nature of making an mistakes, right? Okay, so if suppose if we made any mistake in a production server, it will impact on a business here. Okay, and it is quite difficult to fix the bug post deployment. Let's say we have done the deployment to the production server, assume if we come to know some bug is there in the application. Okay, so in order to go back to the initial stage, it is very difficult, right? Once the entire product is done, and we come to know that one of the bug or some issue is there with the product. Okay, then in order to go back and in order to rectify that issue, it will take a lot of time and it will take a lot of effort as well, right? So hence that is also one of the drawback of the waterfall model. And one of the most important in a waterfall model, we'll take the requirements in a one single shot, right? With the client, we will take the requirements in a one single shot, like what the product should be, how the interface, how the UI, whatever the database we have to use, everything in a single shot we will take it in a waterfall model. So in order to overcome this issue, so the agile methodology comes into the picture. Okay, in this agile methodology, we are following scrums. Okay, that is called as a model, we can say. In a waterfall model, we can see that in 1 second, guys. Sorry, guys. So in order to overcome this issue, so in a waterfall model, we can see we will take the entire requirements in a one single shot. Okay, like the same in the agile methodology, we will take the requirements in a small modules. Okay, so in this agile methodology, we are using a Scrum, that is called as a model here. Okay, and we are following sprint or iterations. Okay, and the duration of this sprint or a iteration is 2 weeks, guys. Like in a waterfall model, you can see here it takes 6 to 8 months to complete one project. Here we can see we are taking it as a 1 to 2 weeks. Okay, and the most important here, you can see the deployment is manual. Okay, whereas in agile methodology the deployment is automated, guys. Right, then what the DevOps is then? Okay, what is DevOps? So two teams collaboratively works together is known as a DevOps, guys. Okay. So what is DevOps? The two teams. Who are those two teams? Dev means developers and Ops means operations. That means the development and operations team. These two teams collaboratively works together is known as a DevOps, guys. Right. So DevOps is not a new tool. It's a new strategy of developing any of the software product. Okay, then the deployment is automated here, whereas in a waterfall model the deployment was manual, whereas in a DevOps it is automated. And most important, most of the tools which we are using in a DevOps is an open source tool. That means all the tools which we are using is a open source. That means we no need to take a we no need to purchase a license here in order to use those applications. Okay, so let's see how we can automate this using the DevOps, guys. Okay. Okay, so let's say I have a developer like this. Assume I have a developer. Let's call it as a developer A and developer B and developer C here. Just a second, guys. Okay. Okay, so I have three developers: developer A, developer B, and developer C. So what these developers will do? Obviously, they are going to write the code here. Okay, so let's say I have a what do you call, let's say the developer A, this is the developer A. So let's say the developer A requires the code wrote by the developer C here. Okay, so how these guys will communicate and how they will share the source code here. Okay, they are not supposed to share the source code via any of the communication media, guys, like in a mail or a Gmail or a WhatsApp or any other communication media as well, guys. Okay, if they perform such activities, then they will be fired here. Correct. Then how to overcome this issue? So what we are doing is we will create a one repository. We call it as a repository. Sorry. Okay. Example git subversion. Sorry. SVN. Okay. Source code repository, guys. Then what they will do? They will start pushing that source code to the this repository. Okay. So now the developer has committed the code and the code is available in our source code repository, guys. Okay. Sorry. So this is the raw source code, guys. That means it is not a executable code here. Okay, then what we have to do is we have to make this code as a executable code, guys. Okay, so in a normal language, if you want to say mean the raw source code, in the sense it is just like the ingredients. Okay, we cannot have this raw ingredients, right? We have to make it as a food, then only we can able to have it, right? So what we will do, we will use the build tool. Okay, build tool. So example for this is and Maven and Gradle. Okay, so these are all the build tools. So what these build tools will perform. Okay, okay, so build tools. So what the example for this build tools are and Maven and Gradle. Okay, so what is the task of this build tool? The task of this build tool is to create the artifacts. Okay, so what are those artifacts? Let's say if you guys are working for a Java based application, okay, the artifacts will, will be having the extension like a .jar, .var, .ear. So what is this jar stands for? So jar stands for Java archives. Var stands for web, sorry, web, web archive, and EAR stands for enterprise archives. Okay, so if you are working, if it is for a Java based application, if it is for a .NET, the extension will become .zip for a .NET. This is for Java. Okay. Okay. Now, what is the task of this build tool is? The task of this build tool is to create the artifacts. In a normal language, if you want to say means, we are making the raw source code into a executable code, guys. Okay. So then, as I told you guys, we have a three developers here, right? So some might be the intelligent developers, some might be the poor developer here, okay? But the industry wants to maintain some standards in the source code because post deployment, they don't want to face any surprises, okay? So in order to overcome that issue, we will be using the source code quality checking tool, okay? Example for this is Sonar Cube, okay? So what is the task of this Sonar Cube is to scan this entire source code, and generate a report here. Okay. Then as we are creating these artifacts, guys, okay, so suppose for example, if we have done the deployment today, okay, assume if something went wrong, I want to revert that code back, right? So from where I can able to get that code back, that executable code, okay? So for that, we will be using the one artifactory repository, okay? Artifactory repo, okay? Example, Nexus or JFrog, okay? So in this one, whatever the artifacts we are creating using this build tool, we are publishing those artifacts to our artifact repository. So the tools which we are using is a Nexus or JFrog. Anything is fine, guys. Okay. Now comes the most important tool, that is a CI tool. So example for the CI tool is like Jenkins, Hudson, Bamboo. A number of tools are available, guys, in the market. Okay, we can use any one of this CI tool. Okay. Now what we will do, we will integrate all these tools with our CI tool, guys, like this. Okay, so once we integrate all these tools with our CI tool, that is with the example, we can say Jenkins. Okay, so we will create a one job for each project, guys. Okay, so what this Jenkins will do is it will connect to this what do you call the repository, okay, and gets the code from the version control system. Okay, we call it as a version control system. Okay, from that code we will push that code to the source code quality checking. That is our Sonar Cube. Okay, it scans the entire source code and it generates a report. So based on that reports, the DevOps engineer will think of it. Okay, whether we can able to push that code to the next stage or no. Okay, we can take the decision there. Okay, so once the Sonar Cube quality is provides the assurance of the quality of the code, then then this Jenkins will automatically pushes the code to the build tool in order to make this code as a executable code, guys. Okay, and parallelly, so the Jenkins also publishes that code to the artifact repository like a Nexus or JFrog. Okay, now everything we have, guys, right? So everything is automated. There is no human intervention here at all. Okay, everything is automated. Okay, now we have everything. Now I can go for the deployment here, right? Then we'll go for the deployment stage. Example like Tomcat, we can say Tomcat server and Wildfly. Okay, while earlier it is called as a JBoss. Now it has been renamed to Wildfly, guys. Okay, now see guys, everything is automated. Now we can go for the deployment to the directly to the server, and there is no human intervention. All everything is automated, guys, right? Okay, now this architecture works fine. Okay, if it is a simple application. Okay, let's say if you want to maintain the high availability of the application, right? Like you can see the Amazon, Flipkart, e-commerce application, net banking. Okay, so not even single second that application will goes down. Okay, so at that time what they will do is they will make the deployment to the multiple servers. Okay, okay, to the multiple servers they will deploy. Now how to see, in this example I have a three servers. Okay, then in a Jenkins, do I need to create a three jobs for three servers? No, guys. Okay, what we can do is we can use the one more intermediate tool. Okay, that is called as a configuration management tool. Okay, example for this is Ansible, Chef, or Puppet. Okay, now what we will do, we will integrate this configuration management tool with our Jenkins. Now this configuration management tool will deploy the code to these servers in one single shot, guys, and we no need to create a three jobs for from our Jenkins here. Okay, right, everything is automated, guys, everything looks fine. And now if I go for the deployment in the in a real time, I can say, let's say I have a production, assume this is the developer, the what do you call the production servers, the production server 1, 2 and 3. Okay, now I can, using this configuration management tool, let's say I want to perform one of the update. Okay, so in a real time what happens, we are not deploying all the artifacts in a one single shot to all the servers, guys. Okay, what we will do is we will deploy the one set of code to this server. Okay, that is called as a production server A. Okay, okay, and the test engineers, okay, will perform the testing, okay, in this server. Okay, if everything looks good, there is no issues, then we'll go for the next server. Okay, and this server like the same, we will go in a one sequence. So this type of deployment is called as a blue green deployment. Okay, Now this is works fine. Now in recently the now the market has been changed for the microservice architecture. That means, what is microservice architecture? Microservice architecture in the sense one function for one service. That means if you open this Amazon.in, okay, that is e-commerce application. Okay, let's say here you can see hello sign in account is there. Okay, for sign in one service they will create. Okay, and for returns one service, and for cart one service, like the same they will be creating n number of microservices here. Okay, if you wants to upgrade your application, okay, in the earlier days we used to take this entire application down, okay, and performs our activity, and again we used to start the service back again. Okay, now in the trend has been changed here, we want to maintain the high availability of our application. Now what we will do, we are using this microservice architecture. In the microservice architecture we will be creating a one service for, sorry, one function for one service. Okay, let's say I want to upgrade this application, I will not take this entire application down, I will take only this service uh, I mean function, I will take only this service function down. Okay, and I will perform my activity, and again I will make the service back again. Okay, that is how the microservice architecture works now. Now what we will do, in order to maintain this microservice architecture, we are using this Docker containers. It is called as a containerization tool here. Okay, so what is this containerization tool? As the name suggests here, container, that means in a highway you might have saw, guys. Okay, the large big containers will be moving, shipping. Okay, so under that container, so they will be shipping the vehicles or utensil, or else let's say, guys, assume you guys are shifting from one location to another location. So what you guys will be doing, you guys will assign on packers and movers or something, they will pack everything and they will ship from your location to another location. Like the same here in the Docker, we are using the Docker, I mean it is a containerization tool. Under that, what we will be having, we will be having our operating system, we will be having our application, our database, if anything, dependencies, also everything, guys, okay, in one small single container. And this container we can able to shift from one location to another location. Location in the sense not physically, guys, okay, it is a logically. That means from Windows to Mac or Mac to Linux or vice versa, guys. Okay, the same container behaves same in all the environments. Okay, because for that we are using this Docker containers. Okay, and the size of this Docker containers are very less, guys. Okay, in the normal way, let's say if you are using the Windows 10 machine or something, if you check the operating system of that, it will be having roughly around 10 to 15 GB, okay, of the hard disk space. Okay, if you check this Docker container of the same CentOS or a Windows 10 application, okay, OS, it will be hardly having the 400 to 500 MB. In terms of MB it will be. Okay, that is how the size of this Docker containers is very less. Okay, so using this Docker container also, we can go for the deployment. Now this is the trend is going on in all the most of the companies, they are using this microservice architecture, guys. Okay, now we have everything, guys, right? So we have a code, we have made it what do you call artifacts, and we can deploy it the high availability, and using the Docker container also we can go for the deployment. Now everything here we have. Now being a human, guys, okay, we can, let's say we are working for Amazon only. Okay, being a human, we cannot go and check every time whether my application is working fine or not, right? So for that, what we will do, we will be having a one supporting team member. Okay, we will be using the monitoring tool. Example, Nagios, Zabex, etc. Like a number of tools are available, guys. We can use any one of this monitoring tool. So the task of this monitoring tool is to monitor this entire application and infrastructure also. Okay, if anything goes wrong, okay, so this monitoring tool will send the notification to a supporting team member, guys. Like L1 support, L2 support will be there, guys, right? So this monitoring tools will send a notification to this supporting team member. So this supporting team member using any one of the ticketing tool, guys. Example for this is Jira, ServiceNow, and number of tools are available, guys, in the market. Okay, you can use any one of this. Okay, so when the monitoring tools monitors our application as well as the infrastructure, as I told you. So if anything goes wrong with the application as well as the infrastructure, this monitoring tool will send a notification to this supporting team member. Okay, so this supporting team member using any one of the ticketing tool like a Jira or services, he will raise a ticket. Okay, if anything is wrong with the application level, then this supporting team member will raise a ticket to the developers. If anything is wrong with the infrastructure level, then they will raise a ticket to the DevOps engineer, guys. Then we have to check that issue and we have to fix it. Okay, and this entire life cycle is called as a CI/CD process, guys. What we call CI/CD. Okay, so what is CI/CD? CI/CD stands for continuous integration and sorry delivery. Okay, so let's recall one more time. Okay, so we have a developers like a developer A, developer B, and developer C. So the task of this developer is to write the source code to this version control system, that is the gate or subversion or SVN. Okay, so once the developer commits the code to our version control system, so the task of the developer is completed. Okay, now whatever the tool we are using, or like Git, Maven, Nexus, Sonar Cube, Ansible, Tomcat, everything we will integrate with the Jenkins here, our CI tool here. Okay, and in a CI tool, that is a Jenkins, we will create a one job for each project. Okay, and so this job will automatically connect to the version control system and gets the code from this. Okay, and it sends the and it's the and it gives that source code to the source code quality checking tool, that is a Sonar Cube. So once the Sonar Cube scans the entire source code and generates a report, okay, then the DevOps engineer will have to take the decision whether we can go for the next stage or no here. Okay, and then this CI tool, the Jenkins, will automatically pushes the code to the build tool in order to create the artifacts. So the task of this artifacts is to create the these type of artifacts. For a Java based application, the artifacts will be like a .jar, .var, and .ear. So jar stands for Java archive, var stands for web archive, and ear stands for enterprise archive, and for .net it will be .zip. Okay, and parallelly, so this Jenkins will also pushes that source code to the artifact repository, that is a Nexus or J4, in order to keep backup of our artifacts which we have generated using the build tool. So then we are pushing that code to the configuration management tool. In our case, we will be using the Ansible. Okay, so this Ansible will push us the code or artifact to our production servers in a n number of minutes. And the process of this deployment will be in a blue-green deployment, we can say. Okay, so this is a one of the method, and then comes the Docker containers. Okay, for why we are using this Docker containers in the sense, in order to for in the latest technology, we will be using the microservice architecture here. So for that microservice architecture, we are using this containerization tool that is called as a Docker. Under this Docker, we will be having our operating system or our application, our dependent database, or if any dependency, etc. Okay, we will make it in a one single container here. Okay, and the size of this container will be very less. Okay, and using this Docker container also, we can go for the deployment. Okay, then comes the monitoring tool. The task of this monitoring tool is to monitor the entire application as well as the infrastructure here. Okay, if anything goes wrong with the application, so this monitoring tool will send a notification to the supporting team member. So this supporting team member, using any one of the ticketing tool, they will raise a ticket. Okay, if anything is wrong with the application, then they will raise a ticket to the developers, and if anything is wrong with the infrastructure level, then they will raise a ticket to the DevOps guys. Okay, so this entire process is called as a CI/CD process, guys. Okay. So any queries? Let me know, guys.
Dheeraj this side. If you can switch back to the diagram which you had just drawn
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
You just query here. You said the size of the Docker is smaller, right? So
Yeah.
is it like a number of Docker instances will be there? Because if we go at the microservices level, the number of microservices would be a huge, right? For every
Mhm.
functionality, you will have one microservices written for that one, and that would be running on multiple server at the same time, right? Not at the same time, but depending on the call, that microservices would be instantiated. So here, when we say that the Docker size is small, so what that mean? Is it like call based? The Docker instance is created, or what that you mean by that one?
Okay, in a normal language, if we want to say means, okay, in a traditional
Mm-hmm.
way, okay, what we were doing is, let's say the Amazon application only, okay. So in earlier days, in one single server, we were deploying this one application, okay. Whereas in using this microservice architecture in one single machine or in one single server, okay, you can run as many as containers you require. Container in the sense your application only,
Mm-hmm.
okay. And why the size of this Docker container is less here? Okay, because see, when you open this, let's say in this Windows machine only, I will show you. Let me open the task manager. Okay, as you can see here, how many processes are running here? Even though I'm not running all these things, but in the background, these are all the process which is running here. Correct. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in a Docker, it won't run all these things. Okay. Basically, it uses the host operating system. Okay, it is a substitute of the virtual machine. I hope you guys are aware of virtual machines, VMware.
Yeah.
So in
Citrix.
a VMware, yeah. So like in a current example, let's say I'm using the Windows 7 machine, right? So assume I require a Linux machine, like a Red Hat machine I require. So what I can do is I need to install the VMware virtual machine. On top of that, I need to install the Linux box. Correct. So for that Linux box also, I need to maintain some standard. Like I need to dedicate some resource for that, right? It has to use a 2 GB of RAM and hard disk space of the 50 GB, okay, etc. Okay. So suppose if you are not utilizing those resources, then whatever the resource we have dedicated, okay, it will become waste. Correct. Okay. Whereas in a Docker, it is not, we are not at all dedicating any of the resource for this Docker here. It mainly uses the host operating system. In my case, it will uses the whatever this Windows 7 machine is having the resource, it will utilize it. If it is available, it will utilize. Otherwise, no. Okay. Because of that, unwanted processes will not be running in these containers here. Okay, because of that the size of this containers will be very less. In simple example, the cent how much will be the size of the CentOS? Approximately 5 GB, right? If you check the same CentOS image in a Docker registry, it will be hardly 300 to 400 MB only. Okay,
Oh, okay.
otherwise you can check it out. It will be available in a hub.docker.com. This is what the registry here. Let's say I require a CentOS.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Will I get the recorded session of this course?
Yeah, of course, it will be available. And and one more thing. So all the sessions will be recorded and it will be uploaded to your Google Drive, guys. Okay. And this demo session will also be available in a YouTube. You can check it out. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So
Thank
this
you.
is yeah, you're welcome. So this is the official image of the CentOS. See guys, how much it is? 89 MB, 90 MB. Do you believe that? Normally it will be 5 GB. If you are using this CentOS, I mean normal Docker containers, it is having only 90 MB. correct? So basically, why we are using this Docker in the sense you are not audible, guys. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
I think some who's that?
Yes.
Mohan, can you just disconnect and join one more time? Okay, if you're not audible. Okay, so let's say I am a developer, guys. Okay, I have wrote some set of code. I have tested in my machine. It works fine. Okay, because of my machine compatibility and the software which I am using and everything. Okay, if I provide the same set of code in your machine, if you guys deploy it, the application may differ or it won't get the response what I'm getting from in my machine. Okay, in order to overcome this issue, we are using this Docker containers. So what I will do is I will create a one container, okay, and they will give it to you, okay, to your machine, and you will also get the same response what I'm getting in my machine. Okay, the only prerequisites is the Docker engine must be up and running here. That is the only prerequisites. Okay, that is the advantage of using this Docker containers. And
Uh,
just think, guys, okay, it is only 90 MB here. Okay, in one single machine, approximately, if you have a 50 GB of hard disk, okay, so how many CentOS machines you can run,
okay.
right? Yeah, I
One,
hope
one more.
it is clear.
Yes, one last query I had. In this, is it more of like configuration based or like more of coding based? When I said coding, is it like command based or cell scripting or scripting command skill set, or it's more of like configuration or tooling based?
So basically here, each tool is having their own commands. Okay, just in a Linux, how we'll be using the commands, right?
Uh-huh.
Like in order to copy some file, we'll be using the copy command. If you want to move, we'll be using MV. Okay, like the same, each individual tool is having their own commands. Okay, we have to be just expertise in all those commands. Okay, and it will be very easy to work here. And there is no scripting kind of thing. No need to hesitate there. Only scripting we will be doing in a Jenkins here. That is a Groovy script we'll do. That is not also not a big deal here. Okay, by I will teach you from a scratch also. It is not a big issue. Okay. Only in Jenkins we'll be writing some set of code. That's it. Apart from that, in all the tools, it is a command line only. And once you integrate all this with the Jenkins, that also it is not. I mean, it is not available. I mean, it's not required. If you're configuring this project from a scratch, then we'll be doing all these things. Okay. If it is already available and you have joined that organization, then it will be having the maintenance activity only, like if any of the job fails, then why it has failed, what is the issue. Okay, we have to check the logs and we have to fix it. That's it. Okay, it's not a big deal, guys. Okay, in a DevOps.
Okay. More of like our earlier days software configuration management or like the CA7 task kind of thing or
Yeah,
control M
similar kind of thing we can say.
similar kind of thing. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah,
Sorry, I had asked more than one question, but
yeah,
please go
it's
ahead.
okay. It's my duty to resolve your query. I'm here to resolve your query only. Okay,
Thank you.
you're most welcome. Yeah, any other queries, guys? And whatever the tools which I have mentioned, guys, each tool I will teach you from a scratch to the advanced level. Okay, no need to worry about the scripting, coding, everything. Okay, and all these commands will make it in a real time. I'm saying we'll make it in a one Excel sheet. Okay, if requires, we'll just do the copy paste. But you should be aware, if you are executing some command, you should be aware what this command is going to do in a background. Okay, only that knowledge is enough. Basically, what is happening in the market here, in the sense, okay, there is nobody knows the DevOps properly here in the market right now. Okay, there is a huge requirement for a DevOps engineers. Everything should be automated only. Okay, and because of that, there is no resources also available, and because of that, the organization, they are providing the high package for the DevOps engineers, guys. And one more thing, because of this COVID-19, all the projects are coming to India only. Because of that, everybody is getting a 100% hike in, I mean, for my students, most of them I saw minimum they are giving 50 to 80%. If any 2 to 3 offer letters, if you have, means you may get more than 100% also. Okay, it is a trending technology right now, guys. Okay, easily we can leave it here. And if you want to do the trial and error, just put a DevOps resume, okay, in your Naukri portal and try how much call you will get it. In a day, minimum 4 to 5 calls you will get it for a DevOps resume.
Sir, problem or like will some kind of help assistance will remain there once you join, once someone joins the organization, some other organization? I know it would be protected. You cannot see that, but some help at that time would be is very crucial for the
See,
first 3 months.
see, I understood what you
You
are
got my
saying.
question,
Okay.
right? Like from where
Yeah,
I'm.
but yeah, I got your question. So what we will be doing is we will be creating a WhatsApp group. Okay. So
Mhm.
everybody will be added to that group. Okay. So whoever the person who is getting any issues, he can just post it in a WhatsApp group. Okay. Whoever is free, they will revert on that. Okay. I mean, if I'm free, I will revert. So you will get some solution there basically.
Okay.
Okay. And if in order to clear the interviews also, I will be sharing the interview recordings. Okay, so
Mhm.
by listening the interview recordings, you will come to know what the industry is asking from the DevOps engineers. Okay, so that you can easily crack the interview.
Mhm.
Okay, even I will
Okay.
share the DevOps resumes also. I have a number of DevOps resumes. Okay, by just referring that, you can create your own resume also. That is also helpful for you people. And each tool, I'll be sharing the documentation. I have my own documentation I have created. I will be sharing the notes, all the tools, guys. Okay.
Mhm.
Prem Kumar, hope this is online course at 9 p.m. Could you please help us with the course fee and duration? So duration will be roughly around 2.5 to 3 months, guys. Okay. And course fee and all, please check with the DURGASOFT. I am not the concerned person for that, guys.
And time will not be before 9 p.m., right? It will be
I'm
what
also
time?
working, guys. I'm also working. Okay. In my free time only I'm doing. Okay. And yeah, I made it as 9 p.m. because
Okay.
everybody will be free at this time. Yeah. Hence I made it like,
No, anything 9 and after 9 is like workable for me. That's why.
yeah. Thinking that in mind only, I kept it as 9 p.m. IST.
This is Vijay.
Pardon?
Hello. Sir,
Yeah, tell
this
me.
is
You're good.
Vijay.
Yeah, hi
Saturday,
Vijay. Go ahead.
Sunday is working. Saturday, Sunday
Mm,
working.
no, guys.
Holiday.
Okay. Classes will be from Monday to Friday. Okay.
Monday. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. 2 days enjoy, guys. Okay. Why you want to spend studying all the time? Only few hours we have to spend it. Okay. After
Hi, sir.
completion of the, yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt. This is Ram.
Hi, Ram.
Yeah, currently working as a developer at this moment on top MNC, but 2023 quota, I'm planning to go for ESC on H1B. Can I get any idea about the market in ESC about DevOps and AWS?
See, market is very huge, okay, with DevOps guys in the market. I mean, where moreover with on-site like US and UK, okay. It is very easy, guys. Okay, it's not a big deal. And openly, I can challenge you, people, guys. Okay, you attend at least 10 interviews. Out of that, at least you will clear 2 to 3 interviews in your experience. If you won't
Okay.
clear, I will give that whatever the money which I am getting from the DURGASOFT per candidate, I will return that amount back to you people. That is an open challenge for you people.
Sir, one more thing. Thank you very much for that assurance. This DevOps on AWS and DevOps on Azure and DevOps on other cloud platform, right? Will that only changes with the command, or the whole concept remains same?
See,
Suppose.
even I'm teaching it on a AWS cloud only. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what this AWS is providing, it is just providing the infrastructure.
Infrastructure.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay. All the tools, whatever the commands we are using, it is same in Azure as well as Windows as well as in a Google. It will not change anything. Like it is
Okay.
same. Okay. Just those guys will be providing the infrastructure for us. That's it.
Right. So ultimate Linux command will go work the same way. It works on
See, in my
AWS.
machine, if I require a Linux box, what I will do in a traditional way, we will be using the VMware, and on top of that, we have to install. Okay, so it will
Yes.
be consuming my hard disk space, RAM, and etc. Okay, so instead of avoiding that, I will be using the AWS cloud. Under that, I will create a one machine, and anyhow, it is a free of cost only. Okay, for 1 year or 2 years, that is free. Yeah, it is free only. We can use it. Whereas Azure, it is not a free. It is there in the AWS, it's free of cost. For student purpose, they have kept it as free. At a certain limits is there, but for our practice purpose, it is more than enough.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. AWS is also nominal charges. It's not very high.
Yeah, that is what. And Azure Azure, it is chargeable, and
Sorry,
Google Cloud, I have.
I mentioned Azure. It's nominal charges, not AWS. AWS is free for first year. Azure also, it's
Yeah,
not very high cost. It's nominal,
yeah,
affordable.
but they are charging it, right? As compared to AWS, it is totally free. But Azure,
Right.
they are charging, and even Google also is free of cost, I think. Can we pay installments? Okay. For payment related queries, guys, please check with DurgaSoft. I am not the concerned person. Okay. Please check with them. I think tomorrow they will call you for a follow-up. At that time, you can check it out with them. What is the fees and when you guys need to make the payment and etc.
Sir, Azure DevOps code can you learn? Huh?
Azure, when you learn this Jenkins, right? Azure DevOps is very easy. Okay. Everything is ready-made food is
Okay.
available. Just
Okay.
call that drag and drop kind of thing. It is Azure DevOps.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many days training it is? How many days?
It takes roughly around 2.5 to 3 months, guys, because all these tools I am teaching. At the meantime, I am teaching some of the AWS part also, like EC2 instances, load balancer, auto scaling, VPC, everything. Okay, being for a DevOps engineer, how much knowledge is required, I will provide it to you people.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You are welcome.
So, hi. Hello.
Sorry, your voice is not clear.
Can you hear me?
Yes, tell me.
Hello.
Yeah, hello, go ahead. Irfan, right? Tell me, Irfan.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Akhil.
Actually, first of all, you are explaining in AWS part or a DevOps part?
See, I'm teaching AWS. Sorry, I'm teaching DevOps here. Okay, and all these tools which I mentioned here, I will work on an AWS machine.
Okay. In
Okay, so whatever
also in GitHub or anything you are explaining?
see all these. That is what I will take the infrastructure from the AWS. Okay, all these tools I will. I mean, one more thing, guys. Okay, whatever the tools I mentioned here, I will explain both in a Linux machine as well as in a Windows machine also.
Okay.
Okay, so that you will get exposure for both the environments.
Okay. Okay. Sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sir, we learn Linux commands. No?
Yeah, of course, because most of the environments in real time it will be Linux only, especially the Red Hat. So you guys should be aware of this Linux commands. Okay, hence starting I will teach Linux part only. Then we'll go for our first tool, that is the version control system Git. Then we'll proceed
Okay.
accordingly. Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Amit.
Monday to Friday, correct?
Your voice is not clear here. Sorry.
So this course will be on Monday to Friday, correct?
Yeah.
So I'm working as a application support guy and I don't have any experience. So post this DevOps course, will I able to get job?
Easily you will get it, guys. Okay. If you know ABCD, it is more than enough. Okay. You will get it easily. I will teach you from a scratch. Okay. Starting from ABCD. In a technical perspective, I'm saying. Okay. No worries.
Okay.
Even the system admin guys also getting a job in DevOps. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else?
One thing, what kind of blunders a normal new DevOps engineer do, and who rewards back?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
What kind of major accidental damage, or like not accidental damage, but due to lack of knowledge, might be merge issue or some kind of like activity as a new developer someone performs.
See, all these real-time, I will be explaining in real-time scenarios based on
Mhm.
you. Okay. So when you guys will start getting the regular session, so what we have to do if there is a unwanted commit happen to the repository, how to take that code back. Okay. Each and everything I will explain on the daily sessions.
Okay.
Yeah,
You are
Dinesh.
explaining any project, sir?
Yeah, from us, what do you call the real-time project only, I will be explaining all this process. And end of the session, I will be creating all the CI CD here till deployment, starting from code to till deployment. I will be.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else?
Sir, one more thing to sir, like I'm not in India as of now. I'm in UK, and I have like around 17 years of experience. So with that, right, like moving into this one, how you actually see it? It doesn't make much means like it will not affect even if I move into a hands-on experience. But what is your take on that one?
See, you are, as you told, you have a 17 years of experience. In order to adopt the new, you have to adopt the new technology, okay, in the market, which
Uh-huh.
is trending. Okay, otherwise you will become like, I mean, nobody will, what do you call, what can I say? You'll will be not having much recognition. Okay, if you want to available in that IT industry, you should have to be updated. Okay, technically.
Uh-huh.
Okay, it's my suggestion to go. Not, I mean, I'm not supporting go for the DevOps only, but whichever the technology it is available in the market right now, we have to adopt it if you want to lead in the DevOps. I mean, in IT industries. Okay, it's my
Okay.
request to go proceed here because which is the trending technology available in the market right now. Yeah, and you can easily adopt it as you have a 17 years of experience and it will not make a big deal for you.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So from when you will actually start the session?
Hopefully by next week. Anyhow, DurgaSoft will confirm on that because they will be taking the number of demo session. Then only they, I mean, keeping, I mean,
See,
the
what
report.
often problem I would like to share. DurgaSoft had one difficulty. They normally do this one, and then later on they merge with another batch or like ongoing batch, or like where it's more of like accumulation, stacking from this batch and then again merging into another batch. where I had found like we lose the grip of it. Or like 9 o'clock has been committed, then it will go to 7:30 batch. So that's where I am coming to this one. That if we are committing to 9 p.m. batch, it will be 9 p.m. batch, right? And
See,
it will start from a particular date. That is what actually. I hope you
see,
got my point, right?
yeah, I totally agree. Most of the trainers in a DurgaSoft, they are doing that. Okay, I totally agree for that. Okay, but in my session, I'll be not entertaining such things. Okay, so if you're enrolled for my session, then whoever can enroll, it will be available from starting to till end of the sessions. Okay, end of the course. Okay, we will not take any of them intermediate guys, because if anybody comes in the intermediate, he won't understand anything. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, in my session, it will not happen. I will assure you for that.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Anything else? If no queries, then we'll wind up here, guys. So regarding payment and all, please check with the DurgaSoft. Okay, I hope tomorrow they will call you people for the follow-up. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. And regular session, yeah, the who's that? I mean, just a second. And regular session, what do you call? The DurgaSoft will update you when the regular session starts. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, guys. Bye then. Have a good day. Bye.